I'm going to be giving my full depth breakdown of the UFC Fight Night Dawson versus Green main event, which is of course Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green. And I think this is a very interesting fight. I know a lot of people, 92% on Tapology, are going with Grant Dawson, and I am going with Grant Dawson here, but I think this fight is actually a lot more competitive than people think it will. Like, people are thinking Grant Dawson's going to just run through Bobby Green, which could happen here. Like, that is a possibility in this fight. But if this fight gets extended, like longer than 2 rounds, we're actually in for a very interesting fight. I could see a world where Grant Dawson snatches the first 2 rounds, you know, wrestles Bobby Green, controls him on the ground, maybe does some damage with the ground and pound, goes for submission attempts and everything, and, takes the first 2 rounds. But then I could see Grant Dawson slowing down Bobby Green, just putting a pace on him and actually getting him out of there. Like that's honestly a possibility in this fight. Grant Dawson's very good, and he's on a really good run right now. Like a lot of people have forgot about that Ricky Glenn fight. That was 2 years ago, so I'm not going to hammer on about that too much. But you know, beat Demir is Magulov, Mark Madsen, Jared Gordon, and then yeah, you had that draw with Ricky Glenn, which I think honestly I think it was just an off night for Grant Dawson because he has looked really good since then, and he has seemed to have improved as well. But still, not a good look at all in that fight. But outside of that, he's been flawless in his career. Besides his TKO loss in 35 seconds to Hugh Pulley, the preacher Hugh Pulley. I This guy's 10-6. At the time, he was 5-2, but yeah, now he's 10-6. Crazy. He's got a win over Grant Dawson, considering where Grant Dawson is now in his career. But yeah, that's just what happens in this sport. It's a crazy, crazy sport we love. But yeah, I'm not going to factor that Hugh Poly fight in, obviously, because he's on an 11 fight winning streak since then. 3 fight winning streak if you count that Ricky Glenn fight as just getting rid of that whole win streak. But still, he's been very, very dominant in his fights outside of that Ricky Glenn fight. Was getting beat in the striking. His striking is very shaky. I'll say that about Grant Dawson. Very good fighter, very good grappler, but I do worry about his grappling. Not his grappling, sorry. I worry about his striking. Uh, yeah, that was a weird slip there. But yeah, anyway, I worry about his striking a little bit in these matchups because if you watch him, he doesn't seem to have like the littlest basic striking at all. He doesn't like his striking. You can't even call it basic. It doesn't seem to exist. It's generally very bad. Like we've seen him try and throw jabs. uh, it's very Damian Maya in like the end tail end of his prime esque. But I'd say Damian Maya probably had better striking. Like Grant Dawson, very good grappler, but like yeah, his striking is very worrying. We've seen Mark Madsen drop him as well, and Mark Madsen is no elite striker himself. The Olympian, called the Olympian because of his wrestling background. He wrestled in the 2012 Olympics, and he knocked Grant Dawson down. Like he did knock him down, which, like I say, not a good look there. Like he did knock him down. But at the same time, Grant Dawson out wrestled the Olympian. Like he out wrestled Mark Madsen. So there's two ends to that. It is honestly crazy that he did actually go out there and wrestle uh, Mark Madsen, with his Olympic background and everything. That was very impressive. And then Grant Dawson did get the submission. So, I am very impressed with Grant Dawson when it comes to, like, the stuff he is doing in the cage, like, when it comes to his grappling. Even subbing Jared Gordon's pretty impressive. Jared Gordon's normally a guy who, he's the one normally putting a pace on people, using his wrestling, like, but he actually got subbed by Grant Dawson. Like normally Jared Gordon, if he loses, he's getting knocked out. But Grant Dawson beating him with the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, is very impressive in my opinion. But at the same time, Jared Gordon was like giving him the hands, but I think at the same time, I reckon Jared Gordon's actually very underrated. I think Jared Gordon's hands are especially very underrated. Like this guy's actually got really good boxing. We even seen it against Bobby Green himself that he was doing really good on the feet, and we of course seen that Paddy Pimblett fight where he was boxing up Paddy Pimblett. Like Jared Gordon's got hands. He's not powerful. That's maybe where people get this misunderstanding that he's not a good striker, but he does have good boxing in my opinion. He's very tight with his boxing. Obviously, he's no knockout for it. Like I say, he hasn't knocked anybody out since 2016, which was a head kick. So he's not really the biggest knockout threat, but he was giving Grant Dawson the hands in that fight. But we also at the same time we seen Bobby Green have some trouble with Jared Gordon in their fight with the hands itself. So maybe that just points to Jared Gordon being very underrated. But Bobby Green versus Jared Gordon, stylistically, Grant Dawson much different fight than Jared Gordon. And I don't know, just like if we compare the fights, Bobby Green did get a knockout in that fight, but it was due to a headbutt, so you can't really say too much into that fight. They don't really share any other common opponents. They haven't fought anybody else, so there's no other common opponents you can compare there. But I don't think Grant Dawson's going to really be a threat to Bobby Green at any point on the feet. Like I generally believe that. I think while this fight is standing, like Grant Dawson is in trouble. Like the standing is like lava for him. He needs to get this fight to the ground like as immediately. Because if he stays standing, he's just going to get pieced up. Now Bobby Green's not the most powerful fighter, but he's very quick. He's very accurate. He has a good pace. He will just non-stop pressure Grant Dawson with the boxing. We've seen what he did to Nasrat Haqparast. Broke a significant strike record, I believe, in the lightweight division. And I don't think Grant Dawson will be able to take that. I think Bobby Green will probably mix it up to the body a lot. Grant Dawson has shown to slow down. So maybe Grant Dawson is going to put on like a dominant performance for 4 rounds and then going to be absolutely spent in the fifth round. And then we're just going to see Bobby Green unload on him and break him maybe. Like that is a possibility here. Like this is a worrying fight, especially if you're betting on Grant Dawson. This is a very worrying fight because you don't know if this fight gets extended, it's worrying for you. If you're betting Grant Dawson, I think the best thing for you to do would be like to bet him in like the early, like under 2.5 rounds maybe, just because I don't think I think Grant Dawson can win this fight if it does go 5 rounds, but it's so much more worrying. Like we will see him get clipped or something. Now maybe he's just going to be too strong and he's going to just go out there and absolutely maul Bobby Green for every round, and it won't even be competitive. But Bobby Green's got good takedown defense. People think because he got destroyed by Islam Makhachev on short notice, like he literally took that fight on what, a week's notice. Like, and he had just fought Nasrat Haqparast, where he's not even going to be training for takedowns. Nasrat Haqparast, a pure boxing style fighter. Like, you're really, he was very unprepared against Islam Makhachev, but we've seen his takedown defense is pretty solid over the years. Like Bobby Green, he's very good with the sprawling. His sprawls are good. He's got good get-ups. But obviously, I think Grant Dawson is that next level of wrestler. Not saying next level like compared to Islam Makhachev, but I mean compared to like the other wrestlers he fought over the years. Like how much did Clay Guida get on Bobby Green? I remember that fight was 2020. Yeah, the Blades Volkov card. So yeah. Clay Guida shot 12 takedowns, only got 3 of them. But he didn't really do much with the takedowns either. From memory, I'm pretty sure Bobby Green got back up. He also got takedowns of his own. I could see Bobby Green wrestling here as well. Like I could see him getting Grant Dawson down if he really wanted to. Now, would that be smart? Like I don't think he's too dangerous off his back, Grant Dawson, but I don't think that would be what he wants to do here. Yeah, like I say, it's a very interesting stylistic clash here. But I worry a little bit in this fight. Like I'm very worried that he's gonna get fucking gassed out in this fight. But I like Grant Dawson in this fight, but man, it's worrying. I wouldn't bet on this fight, especially if you're betting on Grant Dawson. I feel like the best bet to do would be to like bet on like Bobby Green in like the fourth or fifth or something like that. Because that's his best shot in this fight, I reckon. I think he can maybe get him out of there, but he has to extend this fight for as long as possible. But yeah, interesting main event, weird main event. I never thought I'd be talking about a fight night Dawson versus Green. Like generally not a fight I ever thought I'd be breaking down as a main event. Like yeah, like sort of a weak main event. I don't think this is going to be the most entertaining fight. Hopefully I'm wrong, but come on, next time Bobby Green gets a main event, can Bobby Green please get a strike? I want to see 5 rounds of Bobby Green fucking striking with someone. I feel like that'd be sick to see. Like Bobby Green is a main event type fighter, but like his two main events have been Islam Makhachev and Grant Dawson. You know, two guys who aren't gonna fucking stand and bang with Bobby Green. Like I don't know, there was just so many other fights Bobby Green could have got for main events over the years, and it's been two fucking grappling heavy fighters. Like I like grappling, but like Bobby Green is like I don't know, unique something unique about Bobby Green. You know, over the years, like there is only one Bobby Green, and it'd just be cool to see him in a main event, fucking using that style. But it is what it is. Should be an interesting fight. Grant Dawson wins this one. He'll probably fucking call Tony Ferguson out again. The guy has like some real weird hatred of Tony Ferguson. After every single fight, he calls Tony Ferguson out. So I imagine this is gonna happen again here. Even knowing, you know, Bobby Green had beat fucking Tony Ferguson. Grant Dawson will probably move up as well in the rankings, and he'll say, "I want Tony Ferguson. It's time." You know, like even knowing Tony Ferguson's a better fight, Paddy Pimblett. But for the winner of this should fight Dan Hooker probably in New Zealand since they're doing a New Zealand fight night. Honestly, Bobby Green versus Dan Hooker would be a sick main event, but I don't think we're going to be seeing that unfortunately. But only time will tell. But if you made it this far into the breakdown, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Sorry this isn't the most exciting breakdown. There's really not much that goes into this fight, if I'm being honest. Like, there's not really much you can break down. You just got to assume Grant Dawson in this fight is probably just gonna just take him down, full Nelson him. Like I don't know this. You know, I don't even think Grant Dawson will go out there and try and ground and pound him out. He's just going to be taking him down, probably going for subs. Like I don't know, Grant Dawson's very good, but his style is very basic. Like there's not really much to his style of grappling. Like he just gets you down, and he's very happy to just like keep the fight where he wants it. You know, like not in like crazy dominant positions, but in positions where you can't really do anything, and he can maybe land a few pitter patter shots, like because he didn't really do much damage against Damir Ismagulov, even though he dominated that fight. You know, we didn't really see him land too much ground and pound. The significant strikes between them: 13 for Demir, 30 for Grant Dawson. Total strikes: 35 for Demir, 84 for Grant Dawson. So, you know, he's not really throwing much ground and pound, not devastating ground and pound at least. It's more like he's doing like some pitter patter shots on the ground. So I imagine it's sort of going to be the same thing here against Bobby Green. But we'll see if Bobby Green's got better takedown than Demir Ismagulov. You know, just knowing how random mixed martial arts are, I'm sure Bobby Green's gonna fucking stuff like 20 takedowns and destroy Grant Dawson against the fence because you know mixed martial arts is just so random. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, not the greatest main event, but there's been worse ones. There's definitely been worse ones. I versus who was it? It was Jessica I versus Catalina. What was her name? Oh, Cynthia Cavillo. That was one of the worst fucking main events anyone of all time. Like that was a horrible fight, especially not the fight itself wasn't too bad, but like the fact that it was a main event was horrible. But anyways, if you've made it this far, make sure you give this video a like. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section below. Let me know if you're picking Bobby Green or Grant Dawson, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.